So you get paid $80,000 for 24 minutes of work.
Yeah. Content creation is wealth creation.
And I think that the reason that people don't create content is they don't like understand that what they're creating content for.
If you are really good and you happen to put yourself out there, that's your competitive advantage.
Yeah. Brands are built over time, not overnight.
What are some really good keys on how to win on YouTube? What does The Rock, Kylie Jenner, and Elon Musk all have in common? They all have billion-dollar brands. And if you want to get paid for who you are in 2025, you have to have a brand behind you. So today we have one of the best brand strategists that's going to give you all the strategy on how to start your brand, scale your brand, and get paid for who you are this year. All that plus more in today's episode.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Melanin Money Show. And this is a special episode for a multitude of reasons. So yes, we did have our very first episode in the studio, but what you didn't know is how this studio all came together. I know you see how crispy the camera quality is. I know you hear how crispy the audio is. So we decided to bring the person who brought it all together for us. Omar, how you doing, man?
Thanks for having me, guys. What an honor.
Yes.
Yes.
What an honor. So this episode right now, I'm just telling you right now, it's selfish for me. After you become a friend, and it's a full ask for a friend episode. I met you over a year ago in a mastermind. And I actually knew of you before meeting you at that mastermind because you had some of the most crispy clips I have ever seen on the internet. Glass, right? And as I got to know you, I really got to know, what you do and how you help people grow and scale their brands. And so it's just an honor to have you on the show, man. And I know that we're entering into a new year and people understand the importance of content, right? And the importance of building a brand now. If they never knew it before, they know it now. So I want to talk about a little bit about that on today's episode. Before we get into that, how did you even get into this, bro? Because were you a pastor beforehand or like?
I'm currently a pastor.
Okay, so give me the whole breakdown. Yeah.
I started in high school. We had the elective and I took broadcast journalism.
Okay.
And that was the group of people that were responsible of making like the morning announcements.
On the PA?
Yeah. And so, but we did video and it was a different time. And it's weird to say it's a different time because I still feel like a child, but like, you would have to capture, frame by frame into the editing software. But long story short, I fell in love with the process of making videos. And so I, told my mom, can I get a laptop and a camera? And then I started vlogging. This is 2006. And so I've been doing video for over 19 years. And I didn't know that by not putting the camera down, it would lead me down a path of then teaching it and then realizing like, oh snap, now this is like a non-negotiable, for whatever. It doesn't even matter what you do. I believe video is an essential form of communication now. And, they actually stopped teaching cursive like in 2010, like in schools.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like that was a whole form of communication that we used to learn growing up.
Right.
And I feel like video is that new thing. And even my daughter, who's 6 years old, loves making videos. So like this concept of content creation or video creation is powerful. And I'm just glad that I never put the camera down. I guess I will make it. And so, and just again, like, it doesn't matter the organization, the person, the brand or whatever, like, cause you come 2020, like the amount of churches that had to come to a halt in meetings and they had to like get resourced and figure out how are we going to go digital. And, and so, I guess, I got my hand in a lot of different things and been able to see a lot of cool growth on YouTube. And now I spend most of my time coaching, consulting entrepreneurs on building their personal brand.
Right. What is some of the biggest impacts that you've seen in entrepreneurs' businesses by making the decision to lean into building a personal brand? Because some people are resistant to it, right? It's like, I'm the expert or whatever. Like they're resistant to the idea of getting in front of the camera. So what have been some paradigm shifts that you've seen for entrepreneurs who've decided to make that decision?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the benefits of video, a lot of the times it's kind of indirect benefits. One indirect benefit is just being the known expert. Because one thing about being an expert different than being the known expert. That's why a lot of people come to me, they're frustrated because there's already somebody more known than them, but they realize that they're not as good at that as them.
Right.
But that all comes down to putting yourself out there. Like that person put themselves out there.
Yep.
The other, benefit is getting better at communicating. Like just because you're good at what you do doesn't mean you're good at teaching what you do.
Facts.
And so putting yourself out there gets you better at communicating. And what's his name? Super rich guy, stocks guy.
Which one?
No. Everyone's Elon Musk. What's his name? Like the guy that has hundreds of billions of dollars of stock. Warren Buffett.
Yeah, you see, your value. Sorry, Warren. What's the guy? $1 million of stock for
But he says that your value goes up when you get good at communication. Your value goes up 50%. You know, like,
Wow.
and there is something like the power of communication. So
Yeah.
So that's just like those like the good stuff, right? It's the even better stuff is building trust on automation.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest frustration people have is it's like it's not working fast enough. I've tried. I put it in 90 days or 6 months or a year.
Yeah.
And you don't like brands are built over time, not overnight. And one of the best compliments I get is, Omar, I've been following you for a long time. So in a world where everybody's getting started to create content, that needs to be your compliment.
Right.
Hey, I've been following you for a long time. You know, I know we have shared mentorship with Myron.
Yeah.
He started YouTube 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So like there are people that have now been following him for a long time, 3 years ago. But when I discovered him on YouTube, he was like in it 6 months.
Yeah.
I actually was able to go backlog his content and then watch. But now he has a library and archive.
Yeah.
And he's somebody who has been followable for a long time. So I think the patience, aspect to it, like you building a brand worthwhile.
Brands are built over time, not
Not
overnight.
overnight.
That is, I think, just a calling to all the people who are trying to get started because, like again, it's not working fast enough. How long you been doing? 3 weeks? Like, what are you talking about? Like, So, and I think it's very important for everyone to understand that, like, it's not when it comes to business and entrepreneurship, it's not the best that makes the most money. It's the most well known, right? Like, everybody in this room can make a better burger than McDonald's, right? But they're the biggest hamburger company in the world because they have the most real estate and they essentially built the biggest brand.
Yeah, his songs aren't made, they're marketed.
Yeah.
Right? We always wonder why these trendy songs are like, why is this at the top of the charts? Well, it's because they're shoving it down our throats, right? Pause.
Just show you, please. Take it there. In the pause, please.
But yeah, I mean, it's just a realization that as experts or as an authority that you just have to come to terms with. You can't be the person that's like, oh, well, it's about the art, it's about the craft. That's true, but it's both and, right? And if you are really good and you happen to put yourself out there, that's your competitive advantage.
Yes.
Because then people can see that difference. It's like, oh, dang, I just didn't know about it, but now that I know about it, I'm definitely going with that guy.
Yeah. Can you dig a little bit deeper on, you said building trust on automation? Because
that's powerful.
I think that when the why is stronger, the how becomes easier. And I think that the reason that people don't create content because they don't understand that what they're creating content for.
Right.
But you said building trust on autopilot. So can you just dive deeper on that and what that means and how that can help a business grow?
Really good. Yeah. I mean, there is that saying that people do business with others they know, like, and trust. And that's what I mean by automation. Like even your likeness, your likeness is automated with video. I think the starting point of your perspective should come in the place of the viewer. Not all viewers are created equal. So if somebody gets hit with a paid ad, their apprehension to pay attention or lock in is very low, right? Or actually the reverse, but you know what I mean? So but if I'm searching for something on YouTube and I find a person, my buy-in and my desire to want to learn, it's a completely different dynamic on a consumption standpoint. And so being the person that's at the end of those searches or being the person that's on the other side of your search, you just went to a workshop for Alex. How much content have you watched of Alex before you actually did something?
Tens of hours.
And then you took the next offer. And it was so easy. Alex didn't really even have to sell you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the imagery that it can be created with any kind of entrepreneur, honestly. And I even find with local businesses, it's actually faster because the trust of being local, there's a quicker dynamic.
Right.
You don't have to have a global personal brand. You can have a local personal brand, which is super powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read something once that said somebody has to see you 7 times before they click to buy something from you. And I think that in a day and age where Instagram is free, YouTube is free, Facebook is free, Snapchat is free, TikTok is free. We have all these different touch points that we can meet our clients at for free for them to see us a few times. And then that way, when they do see our advertising, when they do walk past our store, they're probably more likely to buy because they know who we are.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to do is to get somebody to reverse engineer how they like came into my program.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I love it. Like one time this guy broke it down and it was 14 touch points. It was like 10 podcasts. And then I was on this, I sent an email and he like read it through and then he finally took the web class and then put off the offer and then like signed. And it was like, I like tallied it up and I was like, look, everybody, do you have the patience to spend 14 touch points with a person so that they can join or do whatever you're looking to do? And it is like, it's a compounding effect when you start really uploading consistently, intentional, consistent content. There's a compound effect where he's just an example of like what's going to be now hundreds and maybe thousands of people. Yeah, like, but that more than 7 touch points, it's time based too. This is why I love long form. In a world where everybody's saying 3 tips, 3 hacks, here's one thing, like, can you talk for 8, 12, 15, 30, 50 minutes, like 90 minutes? Because you can't fake it. Like people can feel that. And and honestly, but I believe that's a huge reason why Donald Trump won. He went on podcasts. You were able to consume him for 17 hours unedited, like raw. Like he couldn't be a politician. He had to just be a man, just on a conversation, right? And so, whereas Kamala, I think it was 3 hours that she was able to be consumed.
So almost 4 or 5 times, over 5 times as much watch hours.
Right.
Okay.
Which when you're trying to, I mean, I believe real influence is changing the way somebody thinks about a thing.
Yeah.
And so, if you're trying to change the way somebody thinks about the political candidate they are deciding on, maybe they're in the middle, like time is going to do that.
Right.
And so by him jumping on these bigger podcasts and just having a raw conversation, it was a lot of people just went his direction.
Yeah.
So that's the power of it. But I think and every person at every level can get started and just begin that journey because it is like a plant. It's like a wealth.
Yeah.
I actually think content creation is wealth creation.
Can I? It's intellectual property, right? Yeah, the asset class.
Yeah. So this is what changed the game for me, right? So I've been a long-term investor. Obviously, George is my business partner, so he's been investing longer than me. And when we look at money differently, right? So before we spend money, we automatically think about what that dollar can do for us if it was invested, right? And that's why, we have the spending habits is like that $1,000 over 30 years, bro, compound interest, that's gonna be a lot of money, right? So when I started looking at content the same way I look at investing, everything changed for me because that piece of content compounded over time.
Right.
It could yield a substantial result for me. So if I'm posting once a day, that's 365 deposits that I'm making into my investment account or my podcast or my content account that could yield dividends for me 5, 10, 15, 20 years later. And I think that once I shift my paradigm, creating content became equally as important to me as investing.
So good.
And I feel like whatever your thing is, whether it's investing, whether it's content, whatever it is, if you could find a way to shift your paradigm and do the same thing you do with content, and visualize it, it'll make creating so much easier.
Right. Yeah. I mean, my favorite stat on YouTube is not views. It's watch time.
Why is that?
Because minutes matter most. Like that's the time people are spending with me on brand. Because a view could be 10 seconds.
Yeah. Right.
But watch time, I think in 2024, if I'm not mistaken, we had a little over 500,000 hours of watch time, which would equate to about 65 years. So in the year of 2024, people spent 64 years on my brand.
Wow. That's a stat.
And so, but that's why I love long. That's why I'm like, dude, if you're good and you can talk, like go long form because time spent is the most valuable thing. They're saying like the new oil is attention.
It's data, yeah.
So And it creates this celebrity factor in my industry. I go to a conference, people want to take selfies with me, which is so funny because I just offer helpful advice, you know, like, but they've gotten to know me, and I can't hide behind an hour-long conversation. It's me, right? And so the second stat I love on YouTube is real-time views, which means in any given 48-hour window of time, how many views did you get on your channel?
Yeah.
Like, I love that stat over just all-time views, because I don't know, while I'm doing this here with you guys in Dallas hanging out, I think we're going to go to a Mavs game tonight. Like, there will be about 18,000 people that would have spent close to an hour with me. You know, I might take it while I'm chilling. While we're here, while I'm traveling. Like, that's what I mean. Content creation is wealth creation.
Yeah. It's at scale.
At scale.
No, I love that.
So if you had to pick a so somebody wants to get started today, right? What platform would you push them towards, and why? And if it's YouTube, like that probably is the case. But I was wondering, like, how am I gonna get started? What platform should I go, and why am I starting my content journey?
Yeah. Well, there's one I would prescribe, and then there's just like the, you know, Coach Omar helping you figure out your own way. Okay. Right? Like, the helping you figure out your own way, I like to ask the question, what content do you resonate most with? Because in the world of content creation, there's so many ways to express yourself that sometimes your best way to doing that is vlogging your day. So other times it's sitting down in one spot and having a shot that never changes, and you just deliver, you know. Some guys are building like millions of followers on Instagram with just talking head video and then reaction. And then we got the reaction stuff. Like, I know I see. So like, there are so many ways to go about it. My thing is, if you're starting out and you don't know which one, I would learn YouTube. It's worthwhile. YouTube's not going anywhere. It's the platform that has the least amount of changes. It's the platform that does pay you more than any other platform. But rather than you going on a Hulu or a Netflix, YouTube is more streamed than both of those platforms. So you can actually create this dynamic where, I mean, I watch YouTube on my television when I get home. That's kind of just like how I, you know, watch TV. That's why I would say go YouTube. So if you don't know which one you're attracted to, focus on YouTube. Get good at that. That's a skill. That's like very hard. That's why everybody has a hard time growing on YouTube.
Yeah, I think it's the hardest platform to go on. Yeah, that's why people are trying to avoid it.
Because it truly is a skill. It's not just uploading videos, crossing your fingers, and hoping it goes viral.
Yeah.
You should be able to reverse engineer the success on YouTube.
Got it.
All the way down to the packaging of a video, to how you start a video, to the thumbnail and all that stuff.
So when you think about, like, naturally people are getting into content creation for impact, for it to become an authority, all those things, but they also are getting into it to make money, right? So what are the ways that content can lead to various forms of monetization in your business?
It's really good. I mean, we could break down the year I had my first 7-figure year last year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done here. Our studio audience, like,
Are you guys captivated?
yeah. Well, no, yeah.
So, you know, like, 2024, Google paid me to find customers. I use it.
Talk about that for a second. Like,
Well, most people's number one goal to make money on YouTube is to get monetized. Now, I believe you could monetize your channel from day zero by having something to sell. Because if you get, I actually have a student. She has 13 subscribers, 9 videos, and she made 30 grand from one client. So like, you don't need a large following to make a lot of money.
Yeah, right.
But it is this like really cool thing when you get monetized by Google.
Right.
And that comes with a threshold. I believe it's, 4,000 watch hours and like 1,000 subscribers, give or take. They're always changing it. Now, being monetized means the ads that they run on your videos, they're going to share some of that money they make with you, the creator. The thing is with that, you kind of get paid per 1,000 views. That's how they, allocate it. The best performing niches for highest payout from Google are a lot of times business and finance, for obvious reasons. The quality of viewer. And so when I said I was going to set out to do a podcast and go all in on podcasting, I knew it was going to be like a business angle to the content stuff. And so I get paid about $20 every 1,000 views. So last year, Google paid me about $60K in AdSense.
to find your customer for you.
To find my customer and to build trust with an audience that one day they will work from one day they might not get a thank you. I get thank yous all the time, right? But yes, essentially, Google paid me $60K to find more money and make more money.
Right. What's so powerful about YouTube for people who historically spend money on paid media, whether it's on Instagram, Meta, whatever, is the thing about that paradigm shift. The better I get at content creation, the more I'll actually get paid to get in front of the person I want to sell.
100.
That's a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, it's actually funny. Myron was telling me about Russell. Yeah. And Russell was like, bro, I'm coming after you when it comes to like the organic stuff. And then Myron's like, you'll never catch up to me. And he said, why? Well, he's like, because when everybody sees you, you're asking them for something. He's saying every time people see me, they're wondering what they can get from me. Paradigm shift. So, and that's brand, right? So anyway, the cool thing that happened last year, I signed my first brand deal as a solo, creator. Because I've done 7 figures in brand deals when I was making content with Think Media, working with brands like Sony and Canon and stuff like that. But yeah, did an $80,000 brand deal for 24 ad reads. Pretty cool. With equipment I already use. Yeah. It's like the brand of this tripod. Yeah. So like,
so you have to endorse a company that you really believe in.
Yes.
And 24 ad reads, call it 60 seconds a read. So you get paid $80,000 for 24 minutes of work.
yeah, I guess that's one way to put it.
Yeah.
And that's just bonus, right? Like I don't see that as like main finances for my business.
Right.
It's just it's this. Yeah, I know it says I'll sit back there. And then I'm a firm believer of sending people like one place. Like, is it a newsletter? Is it a free download? Is it a web class? Like in my case, my one ad read for my business, I sponsor my own videos. It's how I monetize my own channel.
Yeah.
Is I offer my 5-day challenge in it. And probably with ticket sales last year, I don't know, probably made $100K in ticket sales. Cool. Like,
Yeah.
great.
That's what we need to do. We need to set a ticket sale goal for YouTube for 2025.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Don't threaten me. Not only that, it's also just like finding the person that signs up for it, that says yes to you, to your offer.
Right.
Where did you find me? All that stuff. Like when they say YouTube, it's like, no wonder you were so easy.
Yeah. Because they've already, that 10 hours of you, send up another 5, it's a wrap.
Yeah. So,
So $100,000 from just autopilot ticket sales for one of your offers, $80,000 brand deal for endorsing something you already believe in, and $60,000 from Google to find your customers.
correct.
It's all money you made from YouTube on autopilot so far.
Right. And then like the challenge is dialed, and I mean, probably did closer to 900 with selling an offer on the challenge.
Yeah.
So when combined it all, that's how I got to the 7 figures.
And you spent zero money on advertising.
Well, totally. As in this, towards the end of last year, 2024, I think I was like right under 20K.
Was that a 50x ROAS? That's insane. 50x for having, and this is one thing that George, because I'm the marketing and ads guy. I believe in brand, but I'm the marketing and ads.
Sure.
He's the brand guy, right? So like we always go back and forth on what's more important, like brand or advertising. And one thing that we both can agree with is that having a solid brand drives your advertising costs to the ground.
100.
Because it's more of a reminder than it is who is this guy running on the screen and talking to me.
Yeah, just to like articulate, one of the people that joined my program like November, she's like, I saw your ad on Instagram. I was like, oh, I remember him from YouTube. Let me check out the web class. And she was like, he's talking my language. This is exactly what I need. And that she said, she was like, before the challenge started, Omar, I was a yes, And so that's just powerful.
It just makes you approach content creation so much more differently. It's not a, let me get this done. It's supposed to be relevant. I'm supposed to show up online. It's like, I have an opportunity to create a compound interest machine at scale, nurture at scale, right? And have people, something I created 5 years ago could still be relevant to somebody that just came into my ecosystem. So
yeah,
it's just really powerful.
And then we're seeing podcasts get bought out, like crazy amounts of money. So there is like I did. Obviously, we're always comparing other people's industries and what other people are doing, what we could be doing, all that stuff. But there's something I have a piece to know that like what I'm doing is sowing good seed. And one day, even if that one day is I don't want to work anymore. I just want to turn on a camera and just like pontificate. And like, I will have a people that would love to hear from me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So you mentioned YouTube is something you have to figure out, right? So let's talk about figuring it out.
Yeah.
Right. If you're somebody starting on YouTube, right, what are some key factors on, because there's making the video, then there's editing video, then there's publishing, then there's titling and thumbnails. So like, what are some really good keys on how to win on YouTube?
It's good.
And let's take our time with this because I'm asking for a friend right now. Yeah.
Good. So everything you just listed was like essentially like an obstacle or objection.
Yeah.
I would let's just remove the editing part.
Okay.
Don't edit your video. But and now your delivery on the approach is a little bit different. You kind of want to prepare.
Yeah.
And then you roll through the hangups.
Yeah.
People love that stuff, by the way. Like when you're not so polished and it's not perfectly edited and the jump cuts and it's like, dude, what if you just delivered the thing without it being edited? Cool. That means I don't have to edit. Perfect. Now you just need to come with it with the content value. So like there's production value and content value. A lot of times production value means, you know, good lights or sound. You want the experience to be good. Because my thing is, if an audience, if somebody who's consuming your content has to work hard to consume it, that's even worse than a neutral position.
Yeah.
Because you just sowed, you know, bad seed in there.
Whereas they're making it hard for somebody to pay you as an entrepreneur. Exact cash. What are we doing?
Yeah. And you don't need much to make it good, right?
Right.
But I say don't edit your first videos. Just upload them straight. Now, if you want to maximize an unedited upload, you want to enroll the people that are watching the video. And that's why I like starting a YouTube video with questions. Like enroll them. Have you ever thought to yourself, you know, have you ever desired? Are you wondering why? Like, if you can get in the mind of the person, this is why I like saying too, don't create content for people, create content from people.
Gosh.
So come from, because like we get really good at what we do.
Yeah.
And then we get in our own sphere and we start using good
Jargon, industry jargon in the
that's why I love listening to people, and like when they vocalize their pain, I'm like, oh dang, I never thought of it that way. But the way you put it, you ever thought of yourself as, I'm not a social media person, but I know I need to be on social media? I literally heard that from a client's mouth. Like, I'm like, that's a great way to put it. I would have never put it that way, but because you did, thousands of other people did. So I'm going to start a YouTube video like this. Right. So, and the pre-game to your intro is very important, because your intro is going to win somebody to watch the rest of the video. I know that there's literal gold on YouTube. It's just not discovered because it's incorrectly packaged.
Right.
And I have a friend who he retired himself at age 40 and did it by acquiring rental properties his entire, you know, from his 20 to 40-year-old life, whatever, 20 years. And he made like 1,000 videos, never got views. Like, I'm sure they were incredible information.
Yeah.
He just didn't know how to package the video. He just gave the information, which it's really hard to grow that way. So I should be very intentional with the intro. The intro should contain 3 things if you could do it. You want clarity.
Okay.
Clarity meaning you're almost reinstating what a person clicked for, right? So best performing podcast as of late was Content Game Plan for Entrepreneurs in 2025.
Okay.
And so I start off the video saying, do you wish somebody could just give you exactly what to do in order to build your business with content this year? So like there's resolve. Like, I clicked on the right video. This isn't clickbait. There's clarity. The next thing is credibility. Credibility is if you can have a phrase or a sentence that says, well, this person has gone from 6 figures to not 7, but 4 figures all in just 3 years. That's a credibility phrase.
Right.
So I'm going to let you know what I did in 2024 that made me 7 figures in my business. Credibility. So we have clarity, credibility, and then we have comprehension. Comprehension is like, sometimes the credibility phase could be a comprehension phrase, but comprehension meaning they get something in 30 seconds. So even if it's just knowing that in 3 years that could be me, that's kind of comprehension. Or how you were able to grow your business all with just YouTube. Like that, it communicates to somebody that like, I got something.
Yeah.
YouTube's the answer, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So those like if you have those three elements, even so, like I know when you guys do the podcast, your editors should be looking for that. Like look for a credibility moment. Look for a moment where there's a tip given. And the reason is because on YouTube, you want 60% of retention past the 30-second mark.
Yeah.
So of the people that click on your video, you want them to stay. But how do you get people to click on your video? Glad you asked. It's through the title and the thumbnail and how that works together.
Yeah.
I'll talk about the biggest mistakes people make with the title and thumbnail is they're not intentional with it. Like they just put whatever and they think it's gonna do its thing. And then the thing with the thumbnail, it's just way too busy. So like YouTube is a game of less is more. The less you can condense everything down to its like core essentials, then you have a good package video. So when it comes to the thumbnail, no more than 3 things. If I can count 4 things in your thumbnail other than faces, text, and maybe it's the background, maybe there's an arrow or something, nothing more than 3. You'll find the most pro level creators, they have nothing.
Yeah, they're just a beast.
Yeah,
It's just an image. It's
just
communicating
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the less is more. But for most educators, kind of like us, I would say using words is going to be very helpful. Use picture phrases. Things like when I read it, a picture should come up in my mind.
Can you give me an example?
So I did a podcast on how to grow on YouTube, and which would be actually good to link up because it's just I break it down way more fully in like an hour. But become YouTube rich was in my thumbnail. Like that's word picture.
Right.
People can imagine themselves in a way. And as a marketer, this is helpful. Copywriter, it's great. Like use imagery to get people to imagine. And then as far as the title goes, I mean, the best thing I could say is your title should read like an article. It should be easy to read. I believe people go to college to learn how to write article headlines. So what I like doing is I actually like using Google to find articles and I just recontextualize them for my video.
I see you.
Yeah, I was in
genius.
I was in Derek's coaching program. That was probably one of the best things I got. He said, when you're thinking about a title, think of what you want. Go to Google, hit the news button, type in what you want, make the title, and then look at actual paid people who are better at the job than you are, who make your title better. Then copy theirs, put it on your YouTube channel. Like so,
and this work should be done before. I mean, in the podcast setting, it's a little more tough, but the more prepared you are, even in podcasting, the stronger. Because then even our conversation will be more, intentional.
Right.
And I always especially if you have people coming back on your podcast, which is a freeing concept.
Yeah.
Like free yourself from the thought that you could only be on here once. Right. No, you're going to come on here. We're going to talk YouTube. The next time you come on here, we're going to talk podcasting. The next time you come on here, we're going to talk about how this makes money. Like you can have people on multiple times. Right.
Right.
So the more intentional you are coming in with it. I also like book titles. Book titles are great too, to get insight from, something colon. And by having your title before you start making a video, it gives you so much more clarity to create that video. For instance, if you guys did a tax planning video, maybe you had, 4 tips that you wanted to break down, but then you see an article and it's like 7.
Yeah.
Like maybe we should come up with 7.
Yeah.
Or maybe we should do 3. Like it just gives you more direction on like, what's out there. And then by you doing that, you're also giving your video the chance to be potentially shown up on Google. I believe if you type in YouTube studio setup from my time of making content like that, I still show up in Google. So like not even on YouTube, because Google owns YouTube. Yeah. But like you can also show up on Google search because videos is what people want to consume. So like Google's doing its best. So those are the 3 elements: your title, your thumbnail, and your first 30 seconds. Like strong. That's the art and science of YouTube.
Yeah, strong. So we're, pretty early in 2025. And I feel like every year there's some evolution or trend in content, right? What are some trends or changes in the content creation landscape are you seeing or anticipating or predicting in 2025?
I mean, one definitely is just more transparent, unedited content.
I'm seeing that.
Yeah. Like there's people that they'll have 1,000 subscribers, 300,000 views on a video where they just went out walking and just one straight take delivered an idea or, a concept or something.
Yeah.
So like more personal content, less edited, less polished. And I think it's like it's the time for the small creator, like as far as like being able to accomplish a lot, whether that's make more money or help a lot of people, even with a very small, niche audience. There's a story that Alex Hermosi told about some girl who had 5,000 followers.
Oh yeah, and made like
over $1 million.
$1 million. Yeah,
5,000 followers on Instagram.
yeah,
Like,
Because it's something super niche,
Right.
Like specific. Yeah.
and that just opens the opportunity for more people to get involved. Now you can't be I think another trend is just like, you can't be a generalist.
That's a trend in business. Yeah, I have one else.
Yeah, overall, I think it's because when we see like The Rock and we see the Kim and they are generalists now. Bro, they must start out that we are in something. So I think it's just knowing your journey and that people evolve, and it's okay for your content to evolve over time.
Yeah.
If one day you guys exit and you still have this podcast or what have you, like the conversation with when you guys exit, or maybe this podcast gets sucked into the thing and that's just all you got to show up for. I don't know, whatever you guys make it be. It'll change the dynamic of how you even talk. You're going to change because you yourself, you're human. So I think the trend is just like finding the humanality, even with all like the AI stuff all coming in and everything. There's even going to be like AI creators.
Yeah, I saw that release. Yeah.
Another reason why I love long form is just like, this is, if there's anything that's going to get replaced quickly by AI creators, it's short form content.
Right.
But you can't AI this. There's too much feel going on right now.
Right.
Yeah.
I got you. So, when it comes to Instagram, which is my main platform, it's really volume. So like the more you post per day, the better chances you get one of your reels going viral. And so, I post 3 to 4 times a day, right? I think YouTube is different. I don't think it's more of a volume game, is it? Or like, should you post? Like, should people be trying to post every day, twice a week, once a week, once a month? Like, is there a sweet spot on posting on YouTube?
Yeah, it is audience dependent.
Okay.
Right, depending on how you want to build. So, Jimmy or Mr. Beast, he would say, just do one a month. Like, if you're better off doing just one video a month, but that's not practical for people like us, right? I mean, I think a healthy balance is one a week. One incredible piece of content a week, I think is great. I even told Myron, like, bro, when you started uploading more, I gave up. Because like your stuff is so rich. When you drop something,
It feels overwhelming.
yeah, and that's fine. It's like, but he was like, no, that's actually a good insight, because I love that. I love that. Like, I'm just creating the expectation, because that's what we have. We have the opportunity to create the expectation the viewers have from us. So whatever it is, just stick with it. But I like a healthy rhythm is one a week, just a good long form video that you put intention behind. The reason why I would say people are doing every day, I know I have a friend that started like a Bible Devo 365. So he pre-recorded close to 300 videos already. And so that he's going to journey with people every day. And that's not the first person I've known that's done that. So again, thinking about the audience and what they're doing, so he's dropping a video every day in that case. But the people that are doing more entertainment-based stuff, they're doing way less. They're doing maybe once a month or twice a month, because they're putting all their eggs into that basket. But yeah, I'd say one a week. For most people, great place to start. And honestly, I believe great place to stay to keep the quality of your content high.
Fair. I love it. You mentioned a few, but like, do you have any like really good client testimonials that you would like to share about somebody who thought that like content wasn't for them, or they couldn't do it, and then they joined your program, and then like, oh my God, I gotta say, like, like just because I feel like this is something that people have to get over.
Yeah.
And they look at us like, y'all got to figure it out. But like, can you just give a client story to help people like see the picture?
Yeah, I mean, one that comes to mind, his name's Jamil. He was a financial advisor coach guy. That like wrote a couple books, didn't really like have like a huge following, like had his almost like a past life of a finance and fitness guy, but never really built an online business. And he did his first challenge, no paid ads, and was able to make $42,000 from some of the content we filmed together, because there's a part of being a part of my thing is to come to one of the workshops I put on where I actually produce content for you, so you see the process. Wow, like you see how simple it is.
Yeah, right.
And then not only are you going to leave with content, but you're also going to see, you know, that you can install this in your day-to-day or whatever. But yeah, like he's never made money online like that before. And he just sent me a DM like, Omar, I had the craziest month. Thank you so much. Another guy I think about, his name is, he's a real estate marketing coach, and he teaches real estate agents how to market their businesses and stuff. He came into my program in May. He has like a flat line of his online business. And then I gave him, and a lot of times it's just insight. That's why everyone has their own thing. And I think it's the power of coaching. Somebody who's seeing what you can't see. And just with one tip, and the tip I told him was like, bro, you need to implement story sequences. You do this really well, where it's just like reveal the problem, give the solution, and the next step. And he started doing that, and his calendar got booked out, and now he's doing like 40K monthly recurring revenue. And that was, you know, it's a growth that happened over, you know, the course of 2024. And that's just one insight, you know. I told about the story with the girl. She did short-term rentals. That was that 30K client. It was very specific, Cincinnati, Ohio, Airbnbs.
Yeah.
And then she made content specifically on that. Can you help me buy a house? Yeah, I can help you commission on the house. Can you help me set up for Airbnb? Yeah, it costs this much. Can you help run it? Yeah, I have that too. So she was able, like with one client, to be able to do that. Another guy, his name is Brent. He does like back-end automations for literally car wrap shops. It's like one of my favorite things too is like the eclectic nature of different entrepreneurs that are on my way.
Yeah.
I mean, his monthly reoccurring has gone through the roof since uploading just raw videos, unedited, look and sound good enough. And he's really good at, you know, sales. So like when you have the sales and communication thing, dude, content it's over. Yeah. And so he's able to just get people on a phone and then close them for a monthly reoccurring package. And yeah, I mean, there's about like 80 people in my program now. And I know people starting from like different places, and that's why my program is a year. I tested different cohorts and and I just found because it is a journey, you know, like there's so much to it. The number one content when we get every week is I finally posted my first video. Like you'd be surprised how much mental hang up people are in just to put that video out.
Which is why I'm like, have you go over client stories, because like they have to get started once they hear other people's results.
The clarity comes after the action.
Right.
You know, I remember reading $100 million offer before I put out my own offer. I didn't know what I was reading. It was And then I journeyed a couple of years, joined Mastermind, had offers out there, boom, bap, bap, and I read it again. And I was like, my goodness, it was good. This is where I was, and that is where I was, and this is where I was. In the same way, like you can't get massive amounts of clarity until you do that thing. And I even felt that with my own podcast. Like my podcast found its voice, I think 15 episodes in. So I was just like, you know, I was interviewing people I thought were interesting, and like, you know, but like when I really like it, and now it's dialed. Like, and now I know what I'm doing completely, you know, with the conversation and how I take it. I could have easily had you on and be the CPA, but I had you on my podcast and had you as the local business owner that, you know, markets their business really well. Yeah. And that conversation got like 50, 60,000 views. Yeah. Like incredible.
Very fast. Very fast.
Yeah. So fast. Yeah. The biggest thing is just to stick with it. I'm finding that there's not a lot of people that do that. So, you know, I think my season of even like the coaching stuff is, you know, people are in that beginnings of starting season. Yeah. And then some people who have aligned offers. I mean, real estate agents, it's every week, Brett. I just got 3 leads from that one video. You know, we shot at your workshop. You know, how much does that add up to? Well, this one's $1 million, this one's 750. So how much will you make? Probably like 45 total on this. Great. Off that one piece of content. Yeah. Congratulations. Yeah. Keep it going.
Yeah.
Another guy, a fitness guy, Michael Sheedy, he posted a clip from our workshop, got 1 million views. He had the ManyChat connected to it, and it, you know, brought him a ton of leads. So yeah, man, it's powerful.
What do you feel like is the balance between production value and like content, I guess, value, right? Because I mean, you mentioned those two differences, but like we just invested in a setup, right? All about production value. But years after, we just were, you know, then we started out with a Zoom camera. We were still upgrades. Yeah, it's always dirtier than mine. Yeah, but rough palms. And then to, you know, doing it in person, but at other people's studios, to now having our own office set up. So what is the balance? Obviously, there's value in it. You would have invested in it. From your perspective, what is that, the value in it, and what is the balance of still like having that lower production value, just authentic content that you put out?
Yeah, I think nothing matters more than really the audio quality.
Okay.
It's why you can get by with semi-decent to potentially bad video if your audio is good. Because like audio is what creates intimacy with the viewing experience. It's how it sounds. Like we feel really close to the listeners or watchers right now because of the mice. Yeah. So I would say even if you're using your phone, making sure the audio sounds good. And now you have to consider where you're at. Is it echoey? You know, should you go somewhere quiet? But the balance is really in it. I would consider it good enough. In this case, there is a good enough, right? You're smart, and I like the rear facing camera of your smartphone. So like the back of your camera is good enough.
Okay.
A wireless mic, they have these like Hollyland wireless mics, are $130. It really is. It's good enough.
Gotcha.
You know, and then the next thing is lighting, audio and lighting. So lighting makes any camera look better than it would have
in the dark.
Yeah. So you get people spend a lot of money and they don't really invest in lighting, and like it doesn't look that good. But because you have good lighting hitting your face, you know, it makes the cameras look better than they are, and then having good audio.
That's why some people have like maybe really nice cameras, but it doesn't look as good as it could because they didn't invest in a lighting piece.
But I mean, but then here's the extreme to the other end is like you buy all this stuff and you suck at talking.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, if the content actually, you can look great, but if what you're saying doesn't matter, people are going to lose interest. So, which is why you actually have to be an expert for sure before you can start. What do you got?
I think I am not apologetic to say when like I can't expert for you.
Yeah, right.
You know, like I need you to be good at what you do,
Yeah.
and then together we can make magic happen.
And that's like our thing. Like we can't make the money for like the name of our challenge is the multiply your money challenge. If you don't have any money, we can't multiply. Yeah, right. 40 zeros is still zero never. Know how much you carry the wood and no. So that is.
So you mentioned you do a 5-day training, a 5-day challenge. Can you just tell us how often do you do these, and what can someone expect if they were to join?
Yeah, it's called the Content to Cash Challenge, and I kind of just paint the picture of how this all makes sense so that you can make money at it. I think the biggest reason why people stop creating is because they don't see the money. But it's because we have creatives and artists that don't have a money brain. Then we have business people that don't have a creative brain. And I don't know, maybe I'm blessed, favored by God to be able to be that person in the middle. And so it is an experience, right? Like I prescribe things to do that push people out of their comfort zones. And some people, you'd be surprised how much their desire to create is so high, but they've never seen themselves create. And so just giving them like really easy handles so that like they can go and do something. And then showing how they can optimize a piece of content and turn it into an email and turn that into, you know, a newsletter, whatever you want to do with that. So yes, there's an hour of Q&A every day, which I think a lot of people don't mind picking my brain. It's like a great place to do it, you know. And then I teach for an hour. So yeah, 5 days.
Okay, and we'll put the link to that.
Yeah, in the show. Give you guys an affiliate link, you'll make 50%. Therefore, your channel is monetized.
Yeah, that'd be good in real time. So here we go.
Yeah, literally, I forgot to say that part of how much I made last year because I do interviews and I do affiliate. Because I mean, easily 20, 30K in affiliates.
As affiliates, all money that you didn't have to work for.
Yeah.
To me, something interesting on this earlier in the episode about last year being your first $1 million year. And this is the Melanin Money Show. And one of our favorite questions to ask guests before we wrap up is, what does being a melanin millionaire mean to you?
It just means I don't have to pray as much to give money away. You know, I set out last year, I'm not a goal guy. I don't do resolutions. I live by principle. I do decisions, like I decide. So I decided in 2024, I want to know what it takes to make $1 million. Not to make $1 million, but just to, you know, see what it took, or like how much who did I have to hire? How much did it cost and whatever, you know? And you know, what's crazy to think is that it was the least amount of work that I did.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of that has to come with just trusting the people that you put in place to do the thing. And even in my, like, I want to be so involved in the process because I'm such a fulfillment guy. Like, you know, I'm okay with that. In a world where there's a bunch of people just selling crap on the internet, you know, I don't mind creating that reputation because my brand is also built in the clients that, you know, work with me. So, yeah, I think it just means I could be more generous. That's all. I mean, and nothing's changed. You know, I love Miles Monroe noted that, you know, in the parable of the talents, that the master gave the talents according to their ability, not by happen chance. Like one got 1, one got 3, and the other one got 5.
Yeah.
Or 2 and 5, and then the 2 and 5 they doubled it. The one dug it. That he was going to do that all along, even if he could take it with 5.
So he was still blue. Yeah.
But what we have is all according to our ability. So more people usually pray for more, like God bless me with more, and then you can bless me with more, and then I will. When really God's saying you need to go in your ability. You need wisdom. You need skills. You need to show up. You need to prove that in this test mode that I could trust you with more. And so, yeah, making more, all it means for me is it means I get to give more.
I love it. I think Marcus Rosier said something. He was like, don't let money dictate how much of you can be, basically, right? Because if you only have a limited amount of money, it's only so much you can do. It's only so much you can give. But I thank you so much for your insight, man. Thank you for this amazing, crispy audio and visual setup. It's going to pay dividends for years to come. So we really appreciate having you on and everything that you've done for our content journey.
Heck yeah.
Appreciate it.
I'm here for it.
Let's do it. Until next time. Peace.